let's go to a dungeon exploration, the core element of this game, um, where you have the ability to visit the different locations. So, in this case, we have this location we just discovered in space combat, and we're now going to land there. It's of type in space, so we're using those maps. And map number one is ID 17, so we will land right here. And here is some glossary explanation of all elements that are used in the map. And let's go here, entrance. So this is the tile where we're starting the map. And normally this is enough. We can play already with this. We don't need anything more or take care to check the rules in detail. But to explain it now, we're going into the core rules inside of this book. So I can show you all elements in detail and where you find the rules in detail, of course, as well. So we go there for dungeon exploration, where I just scanned the QR code here to get to this video. In this case, we enter the map here at some entrance tile at the first map. If we visit a location a second time, and we already was, let's say, at map number 4, cleared all maps and number 4 as well, and the teleporting range is big enough. In this case, we can only teleport to map 1, which doesn't make sense because the first map we can enter anyway. Uh, then we could teleport to some deeper map as well to enter it right ahead. But for the first time, we need to get started at the first map of this location. Then our entire crew is set on one tile and we move all together. You not need to mark, okay, here is Alex and here is Lex and whatever. We're using as moving as one team, and one activation is always moving to the next room or the next tile. Like from here, first step to the room, second step to the bulkhead, and including the attempt to open it, and the third going to this room. Here's example. We have one big room. If we're staying here at the moment, we can go there. This is some obstacle needing just an action to pass it by. This next action will be moving here, and the third action, yeah, maybe we're going here, or to that bulkhead. The black walls we cannot move through. And each time, each action we take, we need to spend oxygen here on our spaceship for our crew if we have no atmosphere to breathe. And this depends on the color and the definition of the location. If we have atmosphere outside, no, all purple areas counting as outside will request us to use 1 oxygen per action. And the gray areas are inside, like this one as well. And there we don't need to spend oxygen. So sometime maybe we run out of oxygen. So um, okay, moving forward. Leaving the location is possible in 3 different ways, or more, 5 different ways. First, at the entrance tile. So if we just get started, we can say, oh no, we cannot open the door. Here's some too difficult enemy. We just want to return. Then we turn back and leave the map and the entire location, if this is the first map, um, via the entrance point. Then entering the exit tile, X, at the last location, at the last map. So if we are here at map number 8 and we leave the last exit here, then we are outside of the location and we solved it entirely. Or we teleport back to our spaceship if we are inside the teleportation range, which is quite difficult here. This would only work at the first map in this location, but not at the second or any farther map. Um, then 4, at any exit location tile, here with the dash, if we enter this tile, no matter the map number, we leave the entire location. But if there are further maps we don't visit it then yet, if we already leave it, we don't solve the location, of course. We just left it, but the entire location is not solved. And you have no living crew members remaining at the location, so all that, then you're entirely game over. Or in case you have one left on your spaceship, just 2 or 3 doing the dungeon exploration, then you can continue with the one surviving, if you like. Then we have a separation between tiles and areas. So I already explained it here a little bit, meaning if we enter going here inside, if this is one entire room, so it's only one step to this area. The second action would be going to the exit, or as example, going to the bulkhead. Try to open it. The next action bringing us into this room. Here we have mines, like we have here some enemy, and this enemy is inside the entire room. Here's no border or something around it. This means as soon as we enter the room, the mine's going to explode. Same here with the boss. As soon as we enter this area, no matter if he's already placed at the door here. If he's staying here, it's the same. If we enter it, he will start the ground combat, and only after that we can continue walking. And this is the other tiles have some border around here. Like if we're entering this room, nothing happened. We have to enter the shop tile, then we can use the shop, or we can enter the sheet generator to deactivate the teleporting blocking shield here. Are we going into the T tile, the treasure tile, to get a treasure? I explain the tiles now in the following. Most important is many have a number. This is the strength. So the bulkheads are more difficult to open if here a higher number is located. And but we have more enemies getting stronger if there's a number, and a normal enemy, just an E, have the difficulty of the location. In our case, it's a location with the difficulty of 2. So this enemy will have, if it's just an enemy without a question mark, it would have level 2. If it's a enemy 2, it would be plus 2 levels, so 2 plus 2 is a level 4 enemy. And with the question mark, we roll a d6 and half it. So this would be a 2, so this meaning enemy level 2. The treasure is the same. Sometimes you have a treasure with a number, so you get a higher treasure. And with the enemies, the same. You get with the treasure, with a question mark, it's the same. You roll a die for the level of the treasure. Um, atmospheric conditions, I already explained. We, of course, have some more difficult conditions as well, like hell conditions. They are explained here as well. Standard is you have you have oxygen, then you just can continue. You don't need to waste your oxygen to doing actions. And if you don't have some atmosphere to breathe, you spend it. This is the activations. Triggering tiles, of course, if you're entering a tile, then some effect happens. And let's start here to explain the map elements. The number is just, as I said before, you roll a d6 and half it, and then you get the result number, the strength for some item or tile, whatever. Ammo dealer, those guys sell you ammo for the same price as a regular shop, but you get two ammo tiles instead of one. So they're selling ammo cheaper, but they only sell ammo. You cannot buy anything else there. You have automatic doors. If you walk there, you can only going ahead in that direction. You can never return and pass the door in the other direction. Doors, they do nothing special. You can just enter them and they go open. A bulkhead, a little B, you need to make a tech check to open. Let's say here, if we are placed inside here and we have no atmosphere to breathe, we spend one action and one oxygen to go inside the bulkhead and activate it. A B2 means when activated, a crew member on this tile makes a tech check 2d6 plus tech against 10 to pass through the bulkhead, with the B root number value on the map being an increase to the test goal. This means if we have a B2, we need to roll a 12 or higher. If I take Mila with a tech level of 4, 12 minus 4 means 8. I need to roll a 8 or higher, uh, which is 2d6, which is possible. In this case, I open it. And I have 3 trials. And if I missed the third one, the bulkhead closed and staying closed and locked, and I cannot try to open it again. The other option I have, I can spend a weapon with at least that grade, so a grade 2 weapon, and it have to use ammo, and I have to spend waste an entire magazine of ammo. So let's say the blast of Mina Mila level is a level 3 great weapon. If I shoot the entire blaster empty, 5 shots, because ammo 5, then the bulkhead will explode and I can go through. This is another option to open the bulkhead. Um, we have clone stations in the easier game modes to save the game. We have the enemies. If we run into those, or the B is the boss enemy, I explain it later on in the ground combat, because if you run into them, enemy will spawn and you have a ground combat loop where your heroes fighting against the enemies. But this is the next chapter, the next tutorial. Okay, entrance we already have. Event refers to a storyline event or can be the object of a quest. So sometimes it's mentioned in some quest, hey, you have to go to map number 3 and find the event tile there. Go there and then you can read some cryptid game master event or so. Exit location. This means you can exit the entire location. Exit is just the exit for the map and you come into the next one. A gambler, you can give some stuff and he give you weapon or item in exchange, but you need to roll and randomly get one. And if you roll on a d6, a 1 or 2, you get one grade lower. 3 to 5, you get one grade higher. But if you roll a 6, you get a one grade higher weapon, which is quite insane. But you don't take, if you get something from him in exchange, you don't are not allowed to gamble the same item again. You don't take the stuff he gives you already. Um, High breach, they as example, if we have some area at the outside of the map, then you cannot seal it and get never inside atmosphere here. But in some cases, you have outside atmosphere just because here's some little hull breach and some spaceship wall or whatever marked with a with this symbol here. And if you're going there with some there's some equipment, you can seal the hull breach, then you can close it and take care that the atmosphere inside will be breathable again, or inside atmosphere, whatever it is. Sometimes you have a breathable atmosphere outside, but inside it's not breathable. Okay, we have laser barriers. You can, if you walk through, you get some damage, also the crew getting damage. You have storyline triggers. If you run inside there, right, you roll a d20, 14. This is 1 AN, and you know this 1 AN is a new storyline and trigger it once. So something will happen like a story inside the dungeon exploration. You have med stations, they can heal your crew, first points, mines you can try to evade or try to disarm if you have a high attack level. And if you fail, your crew get damage. You have a modder, he can do different, yeah, he offers three things. He can increase the ammo of your weapon. You can increase the power, the damage of your weapon, or all both together, but then the triple the price. And here's explained how much it costs. As example, pay 30 credits to mod a grade 4 weapon. Every mod is able to mod any grade of weapon as long as you pay. Only weapons listed on page 156 can be modded. And it was the explanation here for the price. Um, can be modified by paying the grade price for each one you modify. So it's the same price as the weapon already costs. So weapon and item, let's say you want to mod the blaster, and the blaster price grade 3 weapon is 12 credits. So for a simple plus 1 damage mod, you need to pay 12 credits again. If you want to have a bigger magazine and a plus 1 damage, it's triple the price, costing 36 credits to do so. You have obstacles. This is just something you have to climb above, costing your action. Can suck if you need to spend a lot of oxygen because you cannot breathe there. Oxygen station is exactly the opposite. There you can refill your oxygen level, the standard level, as well as the oxygen tanks you carry with you, the items. You have a quest master. This is some own topic. He gave you special quests you can solve, sometimes with a time limit. And if you solve it, you get extra rewards, of course. Safety bulkheads. Um, some bulkheads it only opens if the boss is defeated in the map, so you cannot pass it before the boss is defeated. Disruptors blocking the shields at the teleporter, so you can only teleport outside of this map if this is deactivated. So it can happen that even if you have a teleporter and the range and the location is, let's say, 8 for teleporting, and you just run at map number 5, there's behind some enemy for protection, some disruptor, you cannot teleport out. You can just walk again, forward or backward, or you defeat the enemy maybe, and then just run there and deactivate the disruptor and then teleport outside. Shops. Shops interesting. Most important probably, you can spend your money, of course, to buy stuff, and you get the amount here. The first time you enter a shop during a dungeon exploration, you may receive credits for selling useless trash or are you carrying with you. The amount is specified by your most charismatic member's charisma attribute -2. So if you have a, let's say, level 6 charisma crew member, -2 is 4. You get 4 credits just for entering the shop, but only the first time in a dungeon exploration. If you return in the next game round, you get it again. But if you enter the shop multiple times in the same exploration, you only get it one time. So charisma is an advantage. You can talk with him very well, and he gives you some bonus where you can buy stuff from. And important, you can buy the stuff the shop offers with the let's say the grade of the shop. If it's a, let's say, a S1 shop marked with the green S and a 1, uh, and the location has the difficulty of 2, then it's 1 plus 2, grade 3. You can buy all equipment up to grade 3, but there's some exception. You can buy stuff with 1 grade higher than that, but then it's getting more expensive. Yeah, and more expensive means exactly double the price. Here, rare equipment can also be bought at shops. It is the equipment with 1 grade above the shop's level, but the price gets doubled. Okay, and ammo, by the way, if you buy ammo, let's say I want to buy ammo for a blaster with level 3, then you need to pay 3 credits for 1 magazine. And if you go to a ammo dealer, it's the same price, but you get 2 magazines for that 3 credits. So it's not say cheaper, but you get more out of it. Solid wall, you cannot just walk through. The teleporter, I guess I show you here. That's the easiest way. Where we have some maps here with the teleporter, space station. Let's go to the in space here. If we have the same number, they are connected. So if you enter the teleporter number 1, you can decide to go here or here. In this case, you have where we have it. Sometimes you have multiple different here, 1 and 1, 2 and 2. So if you enter, let's say, this tile, you always will land here. If you go back here, you will land here again. So the same numbers are connected, and 2 is connected as well. And the second option is they are numbered from 1 to 6, like it is here the case 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You enter a teleporter, just roll a d6, and then you land at this teleporter. So you never know in advance where you will land. And this is not affected by the disruptor. The disruptor is only for not wired or, let's say, wireless teleporting. Those teleporters inside the maps are wired, so they are not influenced by this teleport blocker. Um, Treasure, this is important. If you defeat enemies and or run into treasures, just need to go there, spend an action, and you get some very important, yeah, the equipment you need to play or to survive. This can be weapon, this can be everything. I explain you in detail right now. So first, gain treasures the first time you enter this tile. So only once, of course. You cannot in the same or in another dungeon exploration enter the same tile again and take it a second time. This doesn't work. And the treasure's grade is equal to the location difficulty plus the level, of course. So if it's a T1 treasure and the location difficulty is 2, it's a treasure grade 3. And to determine the treasure, you can read the rules at 148, or it's also explained right here where you have the weapons and the items. And what happens is first obtain the treasure grade number in credits. So it's a grade 4. You get 4 credits, or you get a free stim pack for each primary enemy or treasure. In this case, if it was a treasure, not a ground combat with enemies, you can also take a stim pack or the credits. Then roll a d20 to define what else you find. See the table above. This depends on in which location you are. So let's say we are in space. I roll the die, a 12, meaning blue, we found an item. Red would be a weapon. This is a ammo. Prototype weapon. This is explained a few pages later here. Prototype weapons. And gray would be nothing. So um, you can also roll cash, then you get some extra cash. Uh, I explain you in detail. Let's say we have extra cash. Then it's quite simple. You roll a d6, 1 to 5. It's 50% of the grade's value in credits. Would be the case now. So if it was a grade 4 treasure, it's 30 credits, the half of, so we would get 15 credits, and that's it. If I roll a 6, it's exactly the grade value in credits, so we would get 30 credits. If it's an item or weapon, let's say it's an item, um, level 4 grade, you roll a d6, it's numbered here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you can always decide left or right side. So you have to the selection out of 2 different items or weapons. So I can take a healing lotion, can be used twice, regenerate each hero 2 health points, or nanobots can be used, regenerate each hero 4 health points, but only one-time usage, but healing double as strong as those are. So the healing lotion is some weaker version of the nanobots, but you can use it or separate it use it with different heroes. And yeah, this way you collect the treasures after combat or after you're running into a treasure. Then we can probably run into a ground combat. If we enter a enemy tile, we have the possibility or the option to avoid it, but only in case if it's an enemy. If it's a boss, you cannot avoid a boss combat. So the options are different. We can choose to run, roll a d6, and add the lowest and highest agility attribute among your active crew members. So in this case, you can see it as well. The lowest and the highest agility. Agility is 2, 4, and 2. So it's 4 and 2, 6 together. 1d6 plus 6 uh, means 11. If the result is equal or higher than the enemy level plus 9, this is a success. So from a grade level 2 enemy, we would manage to run away. From everything higher, he would catch us and it wouldn't work and the combat would just happen. You can try camouflage, you can try to use your charisma to avoid. Just do the check as explained here. Here with charisma, you can also give him extra credit, so you cheat a little bit. Give the enemy credits that he don't attack you. This is possible. Or intimidate. Skip any combat without any dice check. If the enemy level is lower than the second lowest crew member level, this will automatically succeed. So if you have, let's say, all crew members have at least a level 4, and you just have a level 2 or level 3 enemy, you can say no, just run away, and they will escape, and you can continue. You get no experience points, of course, but you don't need to fight against them. Then, important, clearing maps. Clearing maps means if you exit a map, normally the map will have the status cleared and you make an underline. So if I cleared the first map here, I make an underline. This means out cleared maps, enemies, bosses, treasures, and disruptors are not considered to be present and have no effect on anything. This means you cannot collect any treasure again and cannot fight against bosses. You can just walk through the map is solved. It's empty. It's cleared. Safety bulkheads are open, so of course you cannot defeat any boss. Nothing is here, but safety bulkheads are just open. You can walk through. Cannot be returned to an uncleared state. So if they are cleared once, they are uncleared forever. Um, but in some cases, you can decide to not unclear a map, even if you're leaving it. Let's say you're leaving this map through the exit or whatever, or teleporting outside. If you didn't take any treasures, then you can say it's still uncleared. If you then return later, the bosses, everything will be as you are there the first time. So you need to fight against the enemies if you run into them, but you can also collect the treasures. So you have to decide if you want to return probably and probably want to leave the map uncleared. But as mentioned, only if you take no treasures, not one at all. So if you have multiple treasures, high grade, and you only take one little treasures, it's already cleared if you leave it. No way to unclear it. Um, Solving location, I guess I already talked about this in another topic. If you are leaving the last map number 8, uh, and run out of the location. So you was in all maps and left it at the end. Then you get a bonus reward, and this is here. Right here, you get 4 treasures with the treasure grade of the location's difficulty +1. In this case, 2 plus 1 is 3. 4 treasures grade 3, or 2 treasures grade 4. It's one higher. You can solve a location only once. If you enter, you can enter it again, of course, but you cannot get this reward a second time. And you also gain the experience points equal to the location's map count. In this case, it's 8 multiplied by the location's difficulty times 2. 8 times 2 times 2 is 32 experience points for the entire crew. What we have more, and we have an emergency release. This means if you, let's say you're going that way, you survive the mine, and now you have to pass one of the bulkheads. But you're very stupid. You roll 3 times very bad and miss to open this. You miss to open this bulkhead as well, and you have no other way as to return. This is a one-way mission, so you cannot return. You cannot one-way location, sorry. So you cannot walk backwards. Maybe you have a shield jammer, or you're so deep that your teleporter doesn't work, or you don't even have a teleporter. Then otherwise you wouldn't have any option, even if you have no, especially if you have no ammo to blast open a door or so. Then you have the auto opening, the emergency release mode, so one door will automatically open so you can progress. So you cannot never stuck in a map and cannot continue, no matter at all. Okay, and example of a dungeon exploration. This is just the explanation how it worked, a little bit like I explained to you already. The map elements, as mentioned, are quite simple, and you open the sheet here where the maps explain, the elements here explained. This is right ahead of the map page. You have here the glossary of all elements in short, how it works, how the mine can be disarmed, and so on. How you can avoid combat is here. Clearing maps, solving locations, crack open bulkheads by force is all explained here. So normally you not need to take a look into the core rules, and that way you walk through the entire location map by map by map until you stop your exploration or break it to continue it later, or you solve the entire location, whatever. And in between, you have multiple confrontations, I guess, with some enemies if you run into bosses or the normal enemies. And in each case, you have a ground combat loop where we fight against them. And this is the next topic, the next tutorial, where I explain how in detail fighting with your crew against the enemies that will pop out here then. And that's our close all game mechanics from Space Kraken already. But yeah, we will continue.